Yes, any queries?
Ma'am, in page number 32, chlorophyce, they had mentioned in green algae as chlamydomonas.
Page number 32, na?
Yes, ma'am.
We're talking of which? NCRT,
Chlamydomonas, ma'am. Chlorophyce.
NCRT or tuition textbook?
NCRT, ma'am.
Page number 32.
32.
I think you have the old edition, my dear.
Okay.
That's the old edition where exactly even I also have the old edition out over here, wherein you have Volvox, Chlamydomonas, and Chara. Hmm? But if you look at
Yes,
the
ma'am.
new edition, Chara is also out, Chlamydomonas is also out, and over here you have Ulothrix. Okay,
Ma'am, it's in new edition, ma'am. 32 page number.
show me. Okay, so behind, है ना? Yeah, they have given under that economical use, isn't it?
No, ma'am. In chlorophyce, they have given an example, ma'am.
So that's what now the problem is. What may seem like a protest to one biologist, okay, may look like a green algae or an algae to another biologist. Okay, so such kind of questions where there is, problem. Don't worry, you're never going to get such kind of questions. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Another thing is that definitely, please, one sec. I'll only mute everybody. Okay, definitely. Okay, with respect to protest. Okay, when we will start with protest, I will tell you this. Okay, others I tell you right away only. That problem with protest is that it is like the good point is when we're trying to understand phylogeny, evolution. Okay, when we consider the evolutionary tree, so it's like protest. Okay, we have protest. It's not appearing. Okay, protest or protesta. Okay, you have plant like protest. Okay, plant like which further okay evolved into kingdom plantae. Then you have fungi like protist. Okay, for example, that is slime molds, which evolved further into kingdom fungi. And then you have animal like protist, that is protozoa, which evolved into kingdom animalia. Okay, but you also have euglenoids. Okay, you also have euglenoids. Now you do not see any further evolution of euglenoids. That is, we don't, euglenoids is only one type. Okay, that is ऐसे वाले creatures, that is unicellular mixotropic nutrition is only euglenoids. You do not have multicellular multicellular eukaryotic organisms which have mixotropic mode of nutrition. So this hasn't evolved. Okay, this one's evolved, this one's evolved, this one's evolved. Okay, so what do we understand? That protist is a connecting link. In evolution chapter we'll study this. Protist is a connecting link between, okay, Monera, okay, Monera, okay, and all this through. Okay, so that is why you will have, organisms moving in and out. Okay, but definitely that line in biological classification, that chlamydomonas and paramecium, or chlamydomonas and amoeba. Chlamydomonas, plant like, and amoeba or paramecium, animal like. Okay, they were put under one kingdom. So that is the confusion part of protesta. So that is like a demerit. Okay, and the best part or the advantage, okay, is that Protista, okay, forms a connecting link between Monera and the rest of the other kingdoms. So is this understanding fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Chlamydomonas, okay, if you just try and understand Chlamydomonas, what is Chlamydomonas? It is unicellular, eukaryotic, green algae. Okay, unicellular, eukaryotic, green algae. And it is aquatic. So if you just consider that aquatic, okay, unicellular, eukaryotic, and aquatic, these three characters actually move to Protista. Understood? Yes. Subinita and Kaumudi understood, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, chalo. Yes, thank you. So please copy this if you have not copied, and we are moving today to Monera. Okay, before I actually move on to Monera, let me just ask you one or two questions from your textbook. Okay. So Isha, can you hear me, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So over here, there's a question number 21 on page number 29 of your tuition textbook. Whittaker's Protesta excludes. What is the correct option? Whittaker's Protesta excludes. Okay, who wants to answer? It's not simply answering her, you have to explain to me.
Ma'am,
Neha?
me.
Yes, reply.
Ma'am, its answer should be third, means only unicellular prokaryotes.
Why,
Why
beta?
it is because protist doesn't include prokaryotes.
Very good. Okay. No, only unicellular excludes. Excludes matlab nikala gaya hai. It is out. Okay. Excludes only unicellular prokaryotes. That is because unicellular prokaryotes are placed under kingdom Monera. Okay. So this is how we take our understanding. This was one question that I had to ask her. Next, question number 8. Who wants to answer this? Question number 8. In 5 kingdom classification, the number of kingdoms with eukaryotes is. Daniel wants to
First
answer.
option.
Okay, first option.
First
That is
option,
4.
ma'am.
Very good. 4. Okay. Answer is 4 kingdoms. That is Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. Okay. So good. Very good. Keep your tuition textbooks open. Keep your NCERT textbook also open. Next. Okay. Here onwards, whenever I ask anybody, name the 5 kingdoms, it should always be Kingdom Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, animalia. Okay. You should never tell me animalia, fungi, Monera, Protista. ऐसे नहीं बोलना है. You will always remember in this hierarchy only. Okay. I hope you've copied this. At any point of time you think you have not understood, please unmute and ask. Okay. Kingdom Monera. The word Monera. Okay. I can take up a word from here that is mono, which simply means single cell or unicellular organisms. Okay. That is unicellular organisms mean that their one cell, okay, their one cell is capable of independent existence, which means that cell can do everything: respiration, cell division, translation, transcriptions, okay, synthesizing every little thing, excretion, ingestion, everything can be done by that one cell. Okay, for example, we are multicellular organisms. Our one cell cannot do everything. Okay, so these are unicellular organisms. This is first point. Second important point is, that's the first point, unicellular organism. Second important point is, they are all without exception going to be having prokaryotic cells. Okay, without exception, सबके पास they will have prokaryotic cell. So I will just take a few details of prokaryotic cell right now, few details. बाकी का हम, when we will do it in prokaryotic cells, we do it there. Okay, so when we say the word prokaryotic cell, it simply means that it does not have well defined nucleus. Okay, no well defined nucleus, which simply means that there is no nuclear membrane. Please copy it with me. No nuclear membrane, no nucleoplasm, no nucleolus, no histone proteins. तो क्या है उनके पास? They only have chromosomes. Okay, they only have chromosomes. Chromosomes are present. Plus sign का मतलब होगा present. Okay, chromosomes are present. So because chromosomes are present, chromosome contains DNA, and that DNA is going to contain genes, okay, which is required for their survival, for their metabolic activities, and for their existence. Okay, next, ये हो गया. Second important point is, organelles are not membrane bound. Organelles are not membrane bound. I am not saying that organelles are absent. We are simply saying that membrane bound organelles are absent. Okay, so you may have a question. In prokaryotes, organelles are absent. Membrane bound organelles are absent. Organelles, okay, have membranes, okay, or none of the above. So your answer is going to be membrane bound organelles are absent. Okay, इसका मतलब क्या बनता है? Whatever is the organelle, for example, mitochondria. Okay, mitochondria is supposed to be producing ATP. That is, it is supposed to be doing aerobic respiration. Now, in that process, as such, if you consider the mitochondria, okay, I'll just give you an example. Okay, so who wants to answer it to me? Neha, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so मैं आपको बोल रही हूँ, जाके मेरे लिए नूडल्स बनाओ किचन में. तो एक्चुअली किचन में नूडल्स कौन बनाने वाला है? नेहा, आप हो? नेहा चली गई शायद से. ओके,
नहीं.
हाँ, तो मैं आई एम आस्किंग यू टू मेक नूडल्स इन द किचन. तो कौन बनाएगा किचन में नूडल्स?
मम्मी.
मम्मी. ओके, बट ना आपके किचन में ना गैस ही नहीं है, तो कैसे बनेगा नूडल्स? बनेगा नूडल्स?
नहीं.
नहीं, बट किचन तो है ना, किचन इज देयर. किचन में utensils are there. I can hear some utensil sound also. Okay, but gas is not there. Can the noodles be cooked?
No.
No. Okay, thank you. So it simply means, okay, it simply means that even if that place is there, okay, mitochondria है, but mitochondria के अंदर के अगर enzymes नहीं होंगे, ATP synthesis नहीं होने वाली. So important is not the mitochondria, but the enzymes of the mitochondria. Okay, so the prokaryotic cells, okay, will have enzymes and machineries of all the organelles required for the various metabolic processes in the cytoplasm. Okay, it is just that कि कोई compartmentalization नहीं है. Okay, like this is mitochondria, this is Golgi apparatus, this is endoplasmic reticulum. So there is no compartmentalization. That is why there is no name. Okay, but all the enzymes and machineries are going to be present in the cytoplasm. Okay, so this is one very important thing. Next, ribosomes are present. Okay, please remember this, that ribosome, खुद के पास ribosome, it itself does not have membrane. Okay, so it's safe. Membrane ribosomes are going to be of 70S type. Does anybody remember what is the meaning of the word S? S?
Stokes unit.
Svedberg's unit. And what is the other meaning?
Sedimentation coefficient.
Very good. Okay, it has two meanings. You have to remember both the meanings. Okay, that is Svedberg's unit and sedimentation coefficient. दोनों याद रखना है. Okay, next. There is a special structure which is present only in prokaryotic cells, and that structure is called as mesosomes. Okay, which is involved in a lot of activities like DNA replication. Okay, distribution of DNA to daughter cells. Okay, next is respiration processes, enzymatic processes. Next, presence of plasmids. Okay, plasmids are extra chromosomal double stranded circular DNA. Extra chromosomal double stranded circular DNA, which confers, which confers special properties like antibiotic resistance, antibiotic resistance to the bacteria. Okay, and it may be present, it may not be present. Okay, so this is not it is not really necessary that every prokaryotic cell should possess plasmid. Okay, next you will also have photosynthetic lamellae, okay, which are called as chromatophores. Okay, only in blue-green algae. Only in blue-green algae. Sorry. Please copy this. Once you're done copying, please inform me. Done. Okay, Mrudula, Pratiksha has sent done. Okay. So I take it as done from everybody. Okay. A few more features. I'll just keep the lower part in case if you have not copied. Okay. Next. Yes. Thank you. Okay. The next part is okay. So यहाँ तक हो गया. Next is presence of flagella. If they are motile, okay, if the organism is motile, then it's going to possess flagella. Okay, सिर्फ motile forms में flagella होगा. Can anybody tell me what is the arrangement of microtubules going to be in this flagella? Options are 9 plus 0, 9 plus 2, 9 plus 1, none of the above.
9 plus 2.
9 plus 2. Anybody else? Anybody
9 plus
else?
2.
Please think. 9 plus 2. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So the answer is actually simple flagella. Okay, it's going to possess simple flagella. There is no formula of 9 plus 0 or 9 plus 2. This is a unicellular flagella. Okay, that is, it's a prokaryotic flagella which is not going to have any arrangement of microtubules. Okay, next, they're going to possess pili and fimbriae. Okay, some of them. Pili will help in exchange of genetic matter. And this exchange of genetic matter is called as conjugation. Okay, when two bacteria or two prokaryotic cells, when they come close to each other, and with the help of their pili, they exchange their genetic material. Okay, that is called as conjugation. Next is fimbriae. Okay, fimbriae helps them to hold onto substratum. Okay, it helps them to hold onto substratum. Okay, so this was some of the organelles that I wanted you to know, and especially I want you to remember mesosomes and plasmids. These are two structures, that is mesosomes and plasmids, which are specifically present only in prokaryotic organisms. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Once you're done copying, please tell me. Okay, Priyanka says done. The next point is location. Okay, where are these organisms found? They are found everywhere. Okay, the word is omnipresent. Okay, they are omnipresent. That is, they are found everywhere. Right away on my hand also, you will have so many of them. Okay, on the duster, on the pen. Okay, everywhere. They're present everywhere. I'll just give you an example, with respect to bacteria and fungi. Okay, it must have happened to you so many times in your childhood that just before the Diwali vacation, mama had packed jam and roti. Okay, you ate half of it and half of the roti was still remaining in that dabba, and it was in your bag. Now because Diwali vacation started, you had thrown the bag somewhere. You didn't even remember. Now abhi kal school khulne wala hai. Tomorrow the school is going to open. So today night you're doing the packing and you find there that old dabba, okay, with the old chapati inside. When you happen to open it, there's all tiny particles flaring. Hai na? What are those tiny particles that are flaring? Those are spores okay, of the fungi and of the bacteria, and you can see many bacterial colonies and fungal colonies growing. So if you just think, मम्मा ने जब पैक किया था डब्बा, okay, जब मम्मा ने जिस दिन पैक किया था डब्बा, did mama put some bacteria and some fungi also? No, mama didn't put it. But because this bacteria and fungi are present in the air, their spores are present in the air. When we open the dabba, okay, to eat our food, some of them must have just come and entered. Okay, so this tells us that they are omnipresent. Okay, this is one. Secondly, some of the bacteria are present in the most harshest conditions. That is hot thermal springs in the most coldest areas. Okay, so bacteria or monarans are present everywhere. Okay, this is one. The next is, I'm going to take up shapes. The fourth point is shapes. Okay, so what are the different shapes of this organisms? There are four more shapes. Okay, there are four important shapes, and those shapes are circular or spherical. Spherical meal. Spherical. Okay, spherical shapes are called as coccus. Example: lactococci. Okay, the next is rod shape. Bacillus. Can you give me one example of bacillus that you've studied? Yes. Can anybody give me example of one bacillus that you've studied?
Lactobacillus.
Okay, lactobacillus. Any more? Anything else? One very famous, very useful bacteria. One bacillus.
E. coli.
Bacillus
E. coli.
thuringiensis.
Yes, somebody just said it. Bacillus thuringiensis. है ना? Bacillus thuringiensis. Very good. E. coli also very important bacteria, okay? Which is bacillus. Next, that's the second shape. The third shape is spiral. This is going to be somewhat like this. Okay? So it's called spirillum. Example is Treponema. Treponema. I'm just writing it down now. Okay, Treponema pallidum. Do you know Treponema pallidum is the causative agent for which disease?
Sleeping sickness.
Syphilis.
Very good, syphilis. What is syphilis? What is syphilis? Syphilis is the STD. Okay, syphilis is the STD. Gonorrhea, syphilis, chancroids, genital warts, okay, AIDS. These are all STDs. The last shape is comma shape, and they are called as Vibrio. That comma shape itself is called as Vibrio. Example is Vibrio cholerae, and the name itself tells me that it's going to be the causative agent for cholera. Okay, causative agent for cholera. Okay, so these are the four shapes. Please write them down. Subinita, video is flickering.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Gayatri, video is flickering.
No.
Okay. Prachi, just check your net, beta. Okay, see, please, if अगर कोई problem है, so please ask me. अगर मेरे तरफ से problem है, I will leave the session and rejoin. There's a problem from your end, please leave and rejoin. Done? Priyanka has messaged done. The next is we'll take up all the organisms that come under Monera. Okay, so the organisms that come under Monera are, we first have Archaebacteria. Okay, Archaebacteria. Archaebacteria are also called as extremophiles. Okay, extremophiles because they are present in the most extreme or harsh conditions. Next, we have Eubacteria, and under Eubacteria, okay, we have the normal bacteria, and we have cyanobacteria. Okay, cyan. Okay, this word cyan is actually a color. Okay, cyan, that word cyan is a color and it indicates blue-green color. So these are nothing but these are blue-green algae. Okay, when you open few chapters like nutrition, mineral nutrition, microbes in human welfare, and there when they are discussing nitrogen fixation. Okay, so sometimes they use the word cyanobacteria and then sometimes they will use the word blue-green algae. So this is very important for us to remember that cyanobacteria and blue-green algae is the same thing. And because I can identify this word algae, okay, I fix this word, okay, algae as photosynthetic. So now we understand that whenever we hear the word cyanobacteria or blue-green algae, that means their mode of nutrition is autotrophism or photosynthesis. Okay, so I fix the words in my mind. And there is one more variety, okay, called as mycoplasma. You also have two more things, okay, that is you have rickettsias and you have actinomycetes, but we don't have actinomycetes and rickettsia in our syllabus, okay. But definitely I will come to the tuition textbook and a little bit of actinomycetes we will be doing, okay. So please copy this fast. And we will start with Archaebacteria. Okay, yes, definitely. Mycoplasma were initially, बहुत पहले, okay, they were referred as PPLO, okay, PPLO, what does PPLO stand for? कल ही मैंने बताया था. Can anybody tell me what does PPLO stand for?
Pleuropneumonia-like organism.
Very good. Pleuro, okay, pleuro pneumonia. P silent in pneumonia. Pneumonia like organisms. Okay, pleuropneumonia like organisms. Okay, ये वाला पार्ट हो गया कॉपी करके. Okay, done. Next, so archaebacteria. The word archae, okay, it tells me that it's one of the, archae का मतलब होता है जैसे archaeology है, ancient bacteria. Okay, now थोड़ा सा स्पेशल है archaebacteria. स्पेशल क्या है? प्लीज नोट दिस डाउन. Cell wall. Okay, in normal bacteria, cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. यहाँ पे cell wall is not made up of peptidoglycan. So what is it then made up of? Okay, they are made up of complex proteins and complex carbohydrates. Okay, they are made up of complex proteins and complex carbohydrates. But for us, this is important to know that cell wall is not made up of peptidoglycan, because the rest of the organisms in this group, in kingdom Monera, will be made up of peptidoglycan. Okay, that is one. Now, because they have a cell wall which is made up of very complex carbohydrates and proteins, okay, that is the reason they can survive in the most extreme conditions. Okay, this is one. Yesterday we saw that in Carl Voss classification, archaebacteria was out, okay, as one special kingdom, that is archae. When he classified all the organisms into 3 domains, archae got one domain for itself. Okay, so that simply means it is unique in its own character. Okay, that is one. Next, it is classified into 3 types, that is halophiles, methanogens, and thermoacidophiles. The word halo, okay, halogens, it simply means salt. Okay, so halophiles will be available, okay, or halophiles are present in salty and marshy areas. Okay, salty and marshy areas. One example is simply, there's no example in your NCERT, but you can simply remember. This is very easy to remember. Halococcus. Okay. Next, methanogens. Methanogens. Okay, the word methanogen, okay, tells you that it is going to do something with respect to methane. Okay, and these methanogens are present in the gut of ruminants. Can anybody tell me what is a ruminant? Yes. What is a ruminant?
It is a part of stomach in cows or cattle.
Okay, that is omasum, abomasum, rumen, reticulum. That is the stomach. Okay, ruminants का मतलब होता है, if you look at cows and buffaloes, what do? They eat their food. Okay, they're going to eat, they're going to chew and eat their food, and after some time they're going to regurgitate, and again they will start chewing it, and again it is going to go down. So that is the meaning of the word ruminant. So whenever we understand the word ruminant, it's going to mean cows and buffaloes. Okay, so methanogens, yes, chewing process, very good. Okay, methanogens are present in the gut of ruminants. Okay, and it is over here, okay, that this methanogens help the, help in the digestion of the food, okay, or digestion of the cellulose, okay, for the cows and buffaloes. Now, but in the process, they're going to release methane. Okay, in the process, they're going to release methane. When scientists learned this part, okay, they used this methanogens for one very important process. Can anybody tell me what is that process methanogens are used today?
Biogas production.
Very good. Okay, they are used for biogas production. So this is how methanogens are helping us. Okay, that is biogas production. Okay, example could be methanococcus. Okay, one more thing I just want to mention over here. Though I am not writing this in italics, okay, you all have to please understand that this would be in italics because this is our name of the organisms. Okay, next, thermoacidophiles. Okay, these are those bacteria, archaebacteria, which can survive or thrive in extremes of temperature. That is somewhere close to 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस. ओके, हम 40 डिग्रीज में ही हम हा करने लग जाते हैं. ओके, so just imagine they are going to survive in 100 degrees Celsius also. Okay, that kind of temperature they can withstand. And can anybody tell me one example from the syllabus? One thermoacidophile that we have started using for one of the very important processes. Okay, and I'll give you one more hint. That process, वो जो एक process है, that process is very very important and very very crucial in identifying the coronavirus. तो पहला question है आपका, name the process and name the bacteria. Who's telling me? Somebody? No, nobody has responded. Yes, Anjali. Name the thermoacidophile which is used in a process that is used for identification of the coronavirus. Thermoplasma. Thermococcus aquaticus. Thermococcus aquaticus? Is it correct? Okay, the process is PCR. PCR is polymerase chain reaction. And please name the bacteria properly. Is it Thermococcus aquaticus?
Thermus aquatic.
The name of the bacteria is Thermus aquaticus. And it is from this process that we take the enzyme Taq polymerase. Okay, for PCR. Okay, for PCR. That is for identification of the coronavirus. Okay, and it is one of the most valuable and reliable test. Okay, PCR. Please copy this fast. Once you're done, please tell me. Okay, somebody has responded, done. Anjali, done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Yes, please keep responding like this when you're done. Okay, it really helps me to understand. All of you. Okay, thank you, Gayatri. So this ends with Archaebacteria. And now we're going to start with Eubacteria. Okay, that is true bacteria. Whatever characters we had studied of prokaryotic cells, they are going to be applicable to the Eubacteria. Okay. Under Eubacteria, I would classify them as, okay, I'm classifying them on the basis of their mode of nutrition. Okay, so कल मैंने आपको बोला था कि Monera का mode of nutrition is varied. So we'll just try and understand what is that varied mode of nutrition. Okay, so first is based on the mode of nutrition. We have first heterotrophic organisms. and we have autotrophic organisms. Okay, so I would just like, I know most of you know the meaning of these two words, but let me just clarify it more. Autotrophic, auto का मतलब होता है self. Wherever you find the word auto, it would mean self. Okay, so autotrophic organisms are those organisms that can prepare their own food. Okay, यही learn किया हमने, that can prepare their own food. Now you will say, mama, ma'am, हम भी तो अपना own food बनाते हैं ना? Yes, but we are not making our own food. हमारा अपना body own food खुद के लिए नहीं बना सकता है. Okay, we are dependent on something else. So these are those organisms that can make their own food inside their own bodies. Okay, using some form of energy. Okay, some form. It could be light or it could be some other form of energy. Okay, but they are making their own, yes, very good, plants. They are making their own glucose, own amino acids, own fatty acids, nucleic acids, enzymes, everything is made by themselves. अगर आप मुझे 2 दिन खाना नहीं दोगे, you don't give me chapati, sabji, rice and dal, I cannot make anything for myself. जितना स्टोर है उतना यूज होने के बाद कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे हम लोग. बट इफ द हम रोज प्लांट्स को दूध, पनीर, कैल्शियम कुछ देते हैं? कुछ नहीं देते हम लोग. But it can survive on its own self. That is the reason we call them as autotrophic organisms. And heterotrophic organisms are those which are going to depend on outside material or external food. Okay. Okay. Heterotrophic organisms are those organisms that will depend on external, on their external environment for food. It could be that an organism could eat the food directly. Okay, इसको पूरा खा जाएगा, ऐसे पूरा खा जाएगा और फिर अंदर डाइजेशन करेगा. Okay, this is one. Secondly, ये एक ऑर्गेनिज्म है, ये दूसरा ऑर्गेनिज्म है, इसको क्लिंग करके इससे बस न्यूट्रिशन ड्रॉ करता रहेगा. That is parasitism. और इट कुड बी इसको मार देगा. ओके, और फिर खा जाएगा. दैट इज प्रेडेशन. ओके, या फिर दिस इज अ डेड ऑर्गेनिज्म. कुछ भी हो सकता है, प्लांट हो सकता है, एनिमल हो सकता है. दिस इज डेड. ओके, नाउ this organism is present on this and it's simply drawing nutrition from the dead and decaying organism. Okay, so that is called as saprotrophism. So over here we have parasitism, we have saprotrophism. Okay, parasitism would mean, जैसे for example हमको जब infections हो जाते हैं, cholera, typhoid, okay, और any given infection, जब हमको कोई भी bacterial diseases हो जाती है, okay, they are doing nothing but they are doing parasite, they are behaving like parasites on us. Okay, so there are bacteria which can behave like parasites on animals, parasites on plants. Okay, next, saprotrophism. This bacteria will survive on dead and decaying material. Okay, so this is the mode of nutrition of few bacteria. I'll just give you example. Okay, over here we have one simplest example, that is E. coli. Okay, you must have noticed that this E. coli, okay, आपके milk में जब होता है, it's going to turn the milk foul. Okay, it's going to render the milk unconsumable for yourself. That's because this E. coli started using all the nutrition from the milk. Okay, started replicating, and that's how it turned that milk unconsumable for yourself. Okay, then you also have your Salmonella typhi. I'm taking those organisms only which are a part of your syllabus. Salmonella typhi, which causes typhoid. And then there is one more important, which is Rhizobium. Okay, Rhizobium. What do you know about Rhizobium? Yes, kids?
Nitrogen fixing bacteria.
Very good. It's a nitrogen fixing bacteria. Okay, so yes, definitely it has that NIF gene. Okay, nitrogen fixing bacteria. Okay, but can somebody tell me what is the mode of nutrition of rhizobium? उसका mode of nutrition क्या है? Nitrogen fixation is the mode of nutrition. What is the mode of nutrition for rhizobium? Autotropism, heterotropism, nitrogen fixation. Kaumudi?
Heterotrophism.
Yes, answer is heterotropism. Now, then what is this understanding of nitrogen fixation? हम जब भी rhizobium के बारे में सोचते हैं, the first word that comes to our mind is nitrogen fixing bacteria है. So what is this? Okay, please try and understand. Rhizobium is a soil bacterium. मतलब वो soil के अंदर होता है, normally होता है. Okay, it's a soil bacterium. Now, it has to survive. Okay, it has to survive ना, तो वो क्या करेगा? उसका mode of nutrition है heterotropism. That is जो भी dead decaying matter है वहां से वो अपना nutrition लेता रहेगा. Okay, but okay, that is regular काम. But if rhizobium जहाँ पे है, जिस soil में rhizobium है, if वहां पे अगर हम legumes grow कर रहे हैं, legumes is your chana, green peas, matar, okay, groundnuts, these are your legumes. So when legumes are growing in that soil, okay, where rhizobium is growing, then what happens is this rhizobium forms a symbiotic association with it. Okay, it is called as symbiosis. Okay, it forms a symbiotic association with the leguminous plant, that is the roots of the leguminous plant. And now it need not depend on external source of food. Okay, मतलब soil से उसका खाना नहीं आएगा. The food will be provided by the leguminous plant. Okay, the food will be provided by the leguminous plant. And in return, क्योंकि this is symbiosis. Okay, this is not parasitism. ऐसी वो खाना नहीं ले रहा है. This is symbiosis. Okay, so rhizobium has to give something to the leguminous plant, right? So what is it going to do? It is going to do nitrogen fixation. Okay, this is one understanding. But let's take Salmonella typhi. Okay, Salmonella typhi is also present in the soil. Huh? अगर वहां पे मैं कोई भी plant grow करूंगी, what any plant, okay, Salmonella typhi cannot form a symbiotic association with any plant, or it cannot form a symbiotic association with anybody. Okay, that is because it does not have that nitrogen fixation genes. Okay, and it cannot do nitrogen fixation. So one thing that we understand over here is that nitrogen fixation is a character of only few bacteria. Okay, not every bacteria is going to do nitrogen fixation. This is one. But nitrogen fixation can only be done by prokaryotes. No eukaryotes are known to be doing nitrogen fixation naturally. Naturally, no eukaryotes is known to do nitrogen fixation. Only prokaryotes can do nitrogen fixation, but not all prokaryotes can do nitrogen fixation. Is this line understandable? Yes? Yes, somebody's message. Yes, okay. So can somebody repeat it for me? Kaveri? Kaveri, can you repeat it for me, beta? Priyanka, can you repeat it for me?
Ma'am,
Yeah, Prachi, do it.
Ma'am, nitrogen fixation happens only in prokaryotics, but not all prokaryotics. And it does nitrogen fixation doesn't happens in eukaryotics.
Naturally, huh? Naturally.
Naturally. Okay.
That is because now why use the word naturally? That is because with the advent of genetic engineering, okay, we have introduced this NIF genes, okay, in many plants. So genetic engineering say it's possible, but naturally it is a feature of only prokaryotic organisms. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Please copy this fast, and I'll take up autotrophic organisms. Done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just one more thing about this bacteria. Okay, many bacteria have been used. Okay, if we study microbes in human welfare, जब हम microbes in human welfare पढ़ते, one part is bacterial part. Okay, so many bacteria are used for so many good things nowadays. Just for example, we just saw methanogens are used for the production of biogas. So many bacteria are used in the production of antibiotics, alcohols. Okay, so many other enzymes. Just one very important enzyme is streptokinase. Okay, which is used as a clot buster. Okay, it is made, it is made from streptococcus. Okay, so there are so many bacteria that are now made useful for humankind. Next is autotrophic organisms. Under autotrophic organisms, we have two types. That is, first one, okay, all the autotrophic organisms, okay, are classified as photosynthetic autotrophic organisms and chemosynthetic autotrophic organisms. Okay, so I'm taking up photosynthetic autotrophic organisms today. They are commonly called as blue-green algae. Commonly called as blue-green algae. Everything else is very similar to a normal prokaryotic cell. Okay, every other character is very similar to a normal prokaryotic cell. One very important thing, okay, is they will never have a flagella. Okay, they will never have a flagella. Now, because they are photosynthetic, they are going to have chromatophores, that is photosynthetic lamellae, which is like thylakoids, and they are going to possess chlorophyll A, okay, and phycobilins. Chlorophyll A and phycobilins. And now it is this pigment that will help in the trapping of the sunlight for photosynthesis. Next, okay, no flagella, chromatophores. Okay, most of them can occur as unicellular. Some of them could also be filamentous forms. Okay, अगर हम हमारा टेक्स्ट बुक ओपन करके देखेंगे, okay, we have nostoc over here. Okay, अगर हम टेक्स्ट बुक ओपन करेंगे तो यहाँ पे nostoc है. Okay, nostoc is a filamentous blue-green algae. Okay, filamentous blue-green algae. And अगर filamentous forms है, then they are covered by a mucilaginous sheath. They are covered by a mucilaginous sheath. That is, उनके ऊपर एक mucilage, एक slimy material का sheath cover होगा, okay, which is going to protect them. Next, since okay, they are going to do photosynthesis. Okay, they can prepare their own food. Okay, this is one very important understanding mode of nutrition is autotropism, photoautotropism. But okay, but over here again we have two varieties. Okay, that is, one of them can do nitrogen fixation. Okay, one of them can do nitrogen fixation, and there are few who cannot do nitrogen fixation. Okay, now इसका मतलब क्या है? Okay, please try and understand. हाँ, इसका मतलब क्या है? You take any blue green algae. Blue green algae का mode of nutrition is going to be photoautotropism. That is, they are going to make food for themselves. But out of those blue green algae, there are some of them that can also, okay, please understand this word, they can also do nitrogen fixation. And there are some of them who only do photoautotropism, they are not going to do nitrogen fixation. Okay, so some of them who can do nitrogen fixation, okay, for example, nostoc. Please याद रखना, okay, at least 2-3 blue green algae आपको अभी आना चाहिए. One is nostoc. मैं यहीं पे लिख लेती हूँ, okay, examples. इसी के examples में यहाँ पे लिखूँ. Nostoc, Anabaina, okay, Oscillatoria. Okay, we will remember this 3 right now. Yes, very good, Anabaina. Okay, so we'll remember this 3 as of now. That is nostoc, Anabaina, and Oscillatoria. Okay, so ये जो तीनों है, these are blue green algae. First, सब blue green algae, that is they do photoautotropism, and they can also do nitrogen fixation. Okay, they can also do nitrogen fixation. अब जब nitrogen fixation होता है, okay, now some of them could be free living. Okay, some of them could be free living, and some of them are symbiotic. For example, okay, Anabaina, I'll just give you an example of Anabaina. Anabaina could also be free living, and it is sometimes symbiotic. If it is symbiotic, does anybody know who is the symbiotic partner of Anabaina? Yes? Lichen. Okay, lichens is also there. Anything else? Very, very specifically, Anabaina का एक specific symbiotic partner है. It is a fern. Please name the fern. Yes, please name the fern. Symbiotic fern partner of Anabaina. Okay, I'll read it. It is Azolla. Okay, Azolla is an aquatic fern, okay, which is symbiotic with Anabaina. So, देखो, Anabaina, can anybody tell me 2 processes that Anabaina does? Can you tell me 2 life processes that Anabaina does? कोई तो बोलो.
Nitrogen fixation.
Okay, one is nitrogen fixation और दूसरा खुद के लिए क्या करता है वो? Photoautotropism. Okay, so if we just think of this one example, Anabaina, okay, it is going to do photoautotropism, that is photosynthesis for itself. It is going to do nitrogen fixation, free living में भी करता है वो, और symbiosis में it will do it with Azolla, which is an aquatic fern. Okay, besides that it will do so many other life processes. Okay, that is, it will do cell division, translations, transcriptions, respiration. Okay, कितने सारे life processes करेंगे वो. Okay, so please copy this down. I have not yet touched chemosynthesis, so please wait. Okay, Anjali says done. Others are also done. Please tell me fast. Okay, thank you. One very important thing, okay, about these organisms that do nitrogen fixation. And I want to tell you what is nitrogen fixation also. All those organisms that do nitrogen fixation, that is blue-green algae, okay, they're going to have a special cell. Okay, it is a special cell which is called as heterocyst. It is a cell, it is a pale cell, which means it is not going to be green in color. Normally, blue-green algae will be greenish, bluish in color, but this cell is going to be pale, okay, and it is only this cell that is going to be involved in nitrogen fixation, not all the cells. Okay, so presence of heterocyst, okay, is a very important characteristic of blue-green algae or photosynthetic bacteria. Okay, heterocyst. And I want you to mark this one line in your textbook, okay, in your tuition textbook. Please move to that page, page number 34. Here. Heterocyst, you can find it over here right on top. Okay, nitrogen fixation under anaerobic conditions mainly occurs in specialized cells called heterocyst. Heterocyst are large pale cells, okay, which is mucilage free, मतलब उसके ऊपर mucilage का covering नहीं होगा. Thick wall structures, thick wall cells, which is impermeable to oxygen, okay, which is impermeable to oxygen, मतलब वो oxygen को अपने अंदर आने नहीं देता है. Can anybody tell me why? Why oxygen नहीं चाहिए यहाँ पे? Can anybody tell me? Shraddha?
Ma'am, because in nitrogen fixation, oxygen is not required, so it should be prevented.
Okay, because it is not required. ठीक है. That's because the enzyme nitrogenase, works only in aerobic condition. Okay, enzyme nitrogenase works only in anaerobic condition. Okay, that's the answer. Next, okay, this is one important thing, and we'll just try and understand today. I have 2-3 minutes left. Okay, yeah, we'll have. Okay, I just wanted to understand the meaning of the word nitrogen fixation and nitrification. Okay, please understand this. Yeah, the meaning of the word nitrogen fixation and nitrification, both are different terms. So why oxygen is not needed? That is because enzyme nitrogenase can work only in anaerobic condition. Okay, there is no oxygen required because enzyme nitrogenase works only in anaerobic condition. Okay, next. So what is the difference between these two processes? Nitrogen fixation and nitrification. From the atmosphere, N2, okay, from the atmosphere, N2, okay, that is nitrogen, when it is converted to ammonia, okay, when it is converted to ammonia, this process is called as nitrogen fixation, okay, and when this ammonia is converted to either NO2 minus or NO3 minus, this is nitrification. Okay, so there is a slight difference between nitrogen fixation and nitrification. Both are not the same thing. Yes, definitely they involve compounds of nitrogen, but they are not the same thing. Okay, nitrogen fixation is from the atmosphere, pick up nitrogen, fix it into the soil as ammonia. Okay, but whatever ammonia is present, that ammonia could be this ammonia, or this ammonia could come because of so many other compounds. Okay, because dead and decomposing organisms also release ammonia. Okay, because of so many other things. This ammonia, when this is present in the soil, this ammonia is converted to NO2 minus or NO3 minus. That is called as nitrification. Okay, so we've covered quite a lot of part, okay, today under Monera. So just before I finish, okay, here we have test your IQ too, okay. Not everything is covered, okay. So whatever is covered, for example, till question number 41, okay, it's covered. So I want you to do it till 41, and then you have few other behind also which are covered, okay. Let's say, for example, what is the shape? Can somebody tell me what is the shape?
Vibrio.
Vibrio. Okay, so please look at IQ, test your IQ too, okay. उसको solve करो, जो नहीं किया है उसको solve नहीं करना है, okay. This is for tomorrow, okay. And do you have any? I have not completed. हमको chemosynthesis करना है और थोड़े और parts करने हैं from Monera. But till whatever I did today, did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Any
ma'am.
query?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Prachi. Any queries still here?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, does nitrification come under chemosynthesis? Yeah, no, yeah, it comes under chemosynthesis. I will explain it tomorrow. Okay. So shall I end the session? Ma'am, which topics you're going to take tomorrow? Okay, tomorrow I will complete with Monera, and I'm going to start with Protista. Okay. But please do your homework. That is very, very important. Simultaneously, if you have received any of your books, okay, objective books, please start solving them. Okay. Chalo, thank you.